All right, so I'm going to tell you all I know about the three types of military fuel cans available. The pros, the cons, the flaws, the merits, the practicality, the availability, and which one I think has the best value for your money. So on the far left, we have the current NATO scepter type plastic fuel can. In the center, we have the old school Blitz type or Conco type metal fuel can. And on the right, we have the German type World War II fuel can made of steel. That particular can is from Switzerland. They kept a lot of the original stampings, as you can see on there. And then they added their own flourish to it. So anyway, let me tell you about the NATO current type. Here's your NSN and junk for that if you need it. You need to track down stuff. So I got this at a surplus sale. You don't want to use it for drinking water. Any container you ever use with fuel becomes contaminated. So don't use things that they'll cross-contaminate your potable water. So it says in little tiny stencils right here, 20 liters. Right there, 20 liters. And then big ones right here, 20 liters. I think that's a fill line right there. I never noticed that before. It says U.S. government property, but it got surplus, so I got it now. There's a manufacturer if you need to look up different codes and things like that. It's got 3 handles. This is a derivative of the original German design. They kept the 3 handles. The scepter type U.S. military water cans only have 1 handle. And I served as a 92 Gulf in the Army National Guard. And I remember hauling these things. And you really miss having the 3 handles. You only have the 1 handle. It only gives you 1 place for handling. And I hauled these, about 30 of them, every morning, getting water from the water point. And only having 1 handle, that's a trash cost-cutting thing they did. But in the dark, you can fill on one of these NATO cans, and if you only fill 1 handle, then it's water. If you fill 3, it's fuel. So I do understand from that aspect why they did that. So if you see these, and there's 3 handles, it's meant for fuel. If there's 1 handle, it's only meant for water. So this was done, someone put diesel on there, probably the prior owners. There's really no way to determine what's in here. I have seen these with this strap being different colors. You know, yellow for diesel, red for petroleum or petrol, gasoline. And there's some other color bands too. So I think that's one differentiation. But other than that, you'd have to smell it or look at it to really know. So I'll show you in a minute on the Swiss can what they decided to do for that point. This has got some green diesel in it. That's a stain from that. This is hard to open. They can be jammed from pressure, from temperature, all kinds of stuff. When it's freezing cold outside, all kinds of things. These are difficult to open. I've heard of it. I've never actually used one, but there's some kind of tool that inserts like almost like a comb or something. It inserts in all these holes and allows you to open it easier. But the problem with that is oftentimes, at least in not just in the military setting, but in everyday life, you have what you have. And if you need extra tools and extra things to get into something, often they'll be lost or misplaced or some other reason they're not there for you. And so you're there trying to open it, just your hands. So I don't like this design for that reason. When you open it, you can see down in there there's an air intake, and that's the intake for the air. That's another German innovation, but they adopted it for it. I don't know if you can see in there or not. You can touch it and feel it. Here's some more numbers for you. Here's the numbers off the strap. So I was doing some research. These different colored gaskets, if you use it for gasoline versus diesel or JP8, you have to get a different color flange because the old ones weren't compatible with this gasoline. They would rot or disintegrate. So when you pour this and you don't have the attachment for pouring, which would be another thing that's lost, Murphy's Law and all, you are pouring straight out of here, and it can be done. It splashes everywhere. This situation it's good that they kept this strap, I suppose, so you don't lose the cap. That's good thinking right there. But this often flops around and gets into the stream. There's no way to attach it somewhere up here for pouring. There should be a way to do that. So this is just loosey-goosey, and it gets in the way of the stream, or you have to hold it. If you're holding this and you lose a point of gripping up here, so I don't like that at all. I will say though, it's very thick plastic. It's like the thickest you would ever think of. Supposedly you can float with these. I've never tried it. So if you find yourself drowning, get your hold of one of these. Same for all of them. Fill them full of air, and now you have a flotation device. But as far as being a derivative of plastic, you can see how they fused the different parts together, like some kind of a hot weld. I don't know what the longevity is of these. I don't think they'll be around for 100 years. All the plastic things I've had generally disintegrate. This is an old civilian type can. You can see the difference. Plastic's a lot thinner on this. It's already starting to go bad. This is before the EPA mandates, I think. I don't know after, because there's no release valve here. Also, there's no release valve here. It's up there in that little neck gadget I was showing you. I'm trying to show you. So this glugs. This has a way at least pouring. But that shows you the difference there. This is a Blitz can for civilians. The next can I'll be showing you right there is a Blitz can for the military, which aren't made that anymore. Here's a nomenclature for that civilian can. So I've kind of trained myself about the different fuel cans. Over there, I thought that was an Africa Corps can because I didn't know any better. And it's just a British copy from 1952. You can see it says War Department on there, 1952. It's also rusted out at the bottom. I might show you that when I show you the German one, the Swiss can. Okay, so here's another civilian plastic can. It's got all the junk on it for the EPA. It's almost impossible to use. It pours everywhere. Some different cans and stuff. But this is, so I kind of know about fill cans through pain. So if you have any questions, just post them in the comments below and I'll answer them as best I can. So as far as the wet weather, This is a good design because the rain doesn't stick anywhere. There's no pockets and things for it to stick and rust. Obviously, because it's plastic, it's a good design. Same for sand and grit and mud. They did a good job with that. It's it'll all drain well. Immediately right here, I see on this Blitz can. See on there it says Blitz. It's a Conco can. I think they renamed the Blitz. G, I think that means gasoline. But anyway, there's some diesel in there right now. But you can see right away that debris, water, and stuff can get in there and rust. And that's a problem. Got three handles. That's good. So you don't want that debris falling in the fuel. So there's a cap. There's a retaining strap that's metal. And so to open it, if you don't have the special tool they make, you just got to rely on your fingers. It's kind of hard on you. I haven't opened this in a long time. I got this at a thrift store in Colfax, Washington. So here's some more nomenclature for you. That's diesel in there. So I think there's one of those. Sorry. I think that's another derivative of the pressure release tube. I haven't actually looked and found out, but yep, there's a little tube coming from that hole. So when you pour the can, that allows air to go in and release the pressure for glug glug. So you can already see that this is not a good can for pouring straight out of. It's going to go everywhere, and it does. There's an attachment. It's colloquially known as a donkey, D-I-C-K, and because it's long and tubular, and you may understand why they call it that. So if you don't have that particular device, you're going to be glugging everything everywhere. I'm just saying, just the raw status, what you have to deal with because of the inherent design. I'll tell you why in a minute, why I keep mentioning that. So I use a special tool. I don't have one yet, but to open and close this. So you see how that's attached, and I guess you could take it off. I'm sure there's other ways of doing things that I don't know about. I'm not too familiar with this. I got this when I was just trying to learn about fuel cans. The thing to remember, is how these are put together. See on the United States copies, well, it's kind of like a cost-cutted copy of the German design. They did the welds. Here, we'll show you. See here, the welds are up and down, but here the welds are across. This is a stronger design over here, the German design. This is a weak-ass design in comparison. And down there is a weld. So every time you pick up and drop the can, you risk breaking that weld because it's right on the ground. Versus here, you could dent it and stuff and do a bunch of stuff here and still keep the weld. The weld here is recessed. The weld here on the bottom, it comes out. So you can see in the scepter can, they did a bunch of extra welding because it's plastic and pieces and things like that. But they went with a German design, the original German design, which is up and down. And they don't have anything protruding like down here, so that's a problem. That down there can rust out. It's already starting, and it's a weak point. So, but this can is a lot more strong and sturdy than say one of these over here. Well, this is an adapter set if you want to get rid of the EPA junk. I never did install it. But yeah, in comparison, the typical civilian can versus the military can here. And this might be just a civilianized version of the military cans. The military cans, I believe, are green, olive drab. There's a comparison right there. So this can has been around on this earth long before this, and it'll be around long after this is disintegrated. So at least for that aspect, unless it gets rusty, I need to actually store these properly. So both this old US can and this new US can have the problem of glugging, because there's no, even the civilian can knows better. They have this inherent pour spout. It goes down inside there for storage, but they understand at least that point. That pour spout is the one thing this doesn't have inherently, and this doesn't have inherently. And to be fair, the German design doesn't have a tube inherently, but it does have something inherent that makes it better than these two for pouring, just as is. So you can see the different welding. It's good. Over here, I got fold. This is a copy made in Taiwan. It's a copy of the Blitz can. It's a clone, and I don't know if I got this at a pawn shop. You can see right here. There's been some pressure warping and things like that. So that's come out. It's a little spider down there. But here's the original owner, I guess. So this is a copy can made in Taiwan. So let's see what's in here. I mean, they did a good copy, and superficially, I'm sure there's some corners cut. That's all rusted out a little bit. Sometimes I buy stuff and I forget about it. That's a bad deal. That was a purchase tag there. You can see there's no serial numbers and stuff like on the other one. Just something to think about. So this is the second time I got, if you count that British War Department can, it's the second time I've been fooled by a copy can. So even though it's a copy, it might be better in the long run than any of the plastic ones. It's kind of rough. I should take this and lubricate it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's set it on the side here. Okay, so anyway, let's go to the champion. Oop, did I let the cat out of the bag? So I believe it's, if I remember right, this is 20 liters fuel, and this is flammable in German. The original cans from World War II Germany and before, they mostly look like this. They had an original rendition that was just a cross, like an X, kind of like that right there. The reason these have those X's is because they're a copy of the original can, the original German can, which had an X right here. So they copied the X. The Germans later found, I read a book on this made by a Frenchman. I wish I knew where it was. But the key thing, this special button, I would call it, allowed the cans to have friction between them. And so during transport, when a bunch of them were put together, there was a friction lock with this special innovation here. That's the reason why there's that rectangle there. And you can see they carried it over to the Blitz can, or sorry, the Scepter can. They studied that and copied it. But this is probably one of the finest post-war cans you can get from military surplus. I haven't seen them on the market in a long time. I got this over a decade ago. It's just back then I vaguely knew what I was trying to find, and they surplus this probably because from wear and tear. And I need to take better care of my equipment, obviously. So it's black, but this is something of note that a lot of people haven't seen before on the internet. But this is a little key code, lets you know what's in there. Remember when I said someone wrote on this one what was in there? So that's one way to work things. And I told you about the strap on here, the different colors. It's another way to work things. But this way, now granted this is just a sticker on there, you can adjust what you put in here. Benzene normal, I think that's regular gasoline. I think this is normal, this is extra, and this is high octane, I'm guessing. And then of course D is for diesel, and P is for petrol. I don't know what that is, honestly. But there's a little metal sticker in here. If you press down on this, it'll come out the top, and it's double-sided, and it's four-sided. So you can press this and push it out, and you can make it be any one of these. The reason why I'm not doing it to show you right now is I want to use this only for diesel. I've got a turbo diesel Mercedes. So pay attention to all the welds. It's not just tack welded, but someone actually knew what they were doing and went across here and did all that. And so there's a lot of refinements and things. There's a lot of experts on these that they're looking at right now. What I'm putting in here, it takes an expert eye to see things. So, yeah, an authentic World War II jerry can would have, down here it would say Wehrmacht or Luftwaffe or some other embellishment. They'd have a lot of them. They're all like 50 different or so manufacturers, but they have different stampings and things. But that's the one thing that this right here is identical to the World War II stampings. So I found that unique. A lot of the cans post-war scrubbed everything they could that showed outright German origin or affluence or attribution. It's like they were totally angry with the whole thing, so they tried to scrub as much as they could. So this is a special coating. I was reading in that book by that Frenchman that when these cans were new and before they had a dedicated water can, they would actually use some of these fill cans for water. As long as you hadn't put fuel in, they were good that way. And you can see photos on the internet of soldiers drinking out of these water. Obviously, they're not drinking fuel out. So there's the I guess you call it the air release that all the other cans have adopted since. And so as far as pouring, the aperture here is smaller, but because it's situated in such a way, a manner as a spout, it actually pours way better than any of these other ones here. And there's no other extra attachments you need. It's all inherent. So that is one design thing that's better than all the post-war stuff. When you're pouring, this will actually lock right here, so it doesn't get in your way. It doesn't fall into the stream. Like this will fall in your stream. This will fall in your stream. Unless there's a way to lock those that I'm not aware of. And so that's a better design like that. It's got the 3 handles. Of course, it's the original and best design. You can open these with one hand. If you've taken care of them and lubricated them and things. If not, you can take a piece of wood and jam that under there and open these. So even when they're jammed, they're easier to open than these, because you can actually get some leverage on here, because that's what it is, the lever. The gaskets will last longer on this design because you're not moving them. in a circular motion, back and forth, wearing them away. You're just pressing them down. So there's a lot of refinements to this. Won a lot of trial and error. It was a winner of a bunch of stuff. So what else to tell you? So the reason for these handles is this one's empty. This one's full. Oh, I'm gonna be cheesy. Bring this coffee can, but same idea. Reason why these handles are here is so you can grab them 2 at a time. And that's one hand, and then in my right hand, and then my left hand can grab another 2, and then transport easily that way. That was one thing I was aggravated with those new water cans from Scepter Design. They just have the one handle right there. It totally deletes that excellent thing, and that sucked. That time I was doing training in Yakima, and I didn't have a way to carry 4 empty cans at once. So what else I was going to tell you? So once these are closed, they can be stored any way you want. It's telling you about the expandable button right there, and they do expand and flex. And all these cans, they float. If you fill them at the proper level, they'll float. That's what this is for. If they fall in the ocean or something, you can retrieve them. They're easy to retrieve because they got 3 detachment points for your hook. So yeah, I think there's more. I'm getting tired, and I don't know how many people want to understand about fuel cans. Oh, I was going to show you the British one. Okay, so the British made a copy, World War II, from captured German cans, and they copied more or less exactly all the main points. I mean, they understood they had a good thing when they saw it. And here's some of the things. So this I got at a thrift store. I thought it was an Africa Corps can. I didn't know what I was doing. So this is marked WD for War Department. It's British, 1952. That's beyond World War II. That's a decade after. Ish. There's a maker's mark right there. So this rusted out on the bottom. I didn't know, but you can hold these up in the light and see if they've rusted out. This is not good for anything other than some collection somewhere. I heard people store like coins and things in them and stuff. I don't know, but even grain. Like if you had some chickens, you put chicken feed in them. But with the holes in the bottom there, I'm not sure what it's good for. But they copied all the salient points, and you just gotta know what you're getting. And so functionally, I mean, it'll work. But anyway, I'm sure it depends on workmanship and stuff, what you're willing to put up with. I mean, there's extra holes in here. There's a lack of holes here, so probably some cost cutting done. And then obviously there's not the original, the German flammable, whatever. It's just with whatever stuff they put there. So just be aware. If you go to a pawn shop or swap meet and stuff, and you see WD, it's a British coffee can. So anyway, but still, this hadn't rusted out, and I had to pay attention. By the way, this is starting to rust down there. I need to take care of it. So it's a good wake-up call for me. But just wanted to show you some options, different variants, and different things. So overall, what would I rather have? I'd rather have this one, because if nothing else, it's made of metal. It'll be around as long as I can keep it rust-free. Long beyond my years, I'll be dead and I'll still be around. It gives you, in particular for the Swiss variant, I've never seen any other variant post-war, but it gives you options of putting whatever is in there. You can label it from what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different options. That's good. It's all metal and stuff like that, except for that sticker. It's going to be around. It's got a pour spout built into the design. And then, of course, the welding seams are up and down, not across. And like that. And so that, I think that's a clear winner. One thing that these type have over the metal type is they won't spark if they're shot up or they're dropped or something. They won't spark. Possibly not in the fuel, but if it's diesel anyway, it doesn't matter really. These I'm sure could spark and stuff if they were shot up, so that's one thing to consider. So there's a lot of pros and cons, and these, they swell up like crazy, and like in the Middle East they bulge out. I'm sure these would too, obviously. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. I'm trying to upload better quality videos, but I'm competing against short attention spans and people that have all day to edit. I don't. So just take it for what it's worth. If you got any complaints, you can have a money back refund. And this is free, so don't hold your breath. So other than that, that's Military Industrial Museum. Leave some comments. If you haven't subscribed already, that might be a good idea, because there's a whole mess of channels. You'll probably lose mine in the whole mess of channels out there if you don't subscribe. And if you hit the like button, then the algorithm will process it as a video that other people will want to see. So other than that, yeah, I got a lot